Russian generals have an itch below their backs, and they are in a hurry. Russia has transferred a unit of the new 25th Combined Arms Army to Ukraine, which was planned to be deployed only in December this year. Why such a rush and what is going on? And everything is very simple: there is not enough meat in the defense. The 25th Combined Arms Army is called an amusing army even among smart Russian officers, because it is an unstaffed, unformed something. Every unit has two functions, offensive and defense. In order for an average battalion tactical group to be able to carry out offensive actions, it should have a company set of tanks, that is 11 pieces, a battalion of armored fighting vehicles, that is 33 vehicles. And then there are barrel artillery, multiple rocket launchers, electromagnetic warfare systems, short and medium range air defense missile systems, and so on. So not a single Russian group is fully equipped. Instead of 11 tanks there are 3, instead of 33 armored fighting vehicles there are 2 times less. And the 25th Combined Arms Army has only 20% of the necessary equipment, which means that the shortage of all equipment is 80%. There is only meat of dubious quality, but no iron. And under such conditions, this army can neither attack nor defend effectively. It can only plug holes in the defense, or create an imitation of offensive actions by sending units into the grinder and pretend that it was advancing somewhere there. And why did they bring in this army? Because there is not enough resource. When the Ukrainian defense forces began their offensive in the Zaporizhia region, the Russians primarily used the reserve from the second line of defense to reinforce the first. When the first line of defense was broken through and the AFU came to the second line of defense and began to expand the bridgehead, it turned out that there was no reserve. It remained tamped down at the first line to fertilize the Ukrainian black soil, so they had to transfer from the Kherson region. But they realized in time, because in the left bank Kherson region they have the most poorly equipped grouping, and the Russian command decided to pull forces from the Luhansk region. At the moment, these units are already being depleted in that very triangle Novoprokopivka, Vrbov, Oketovate. And when you take from one bridgehead, you have to fill it with something. So they threw the 25th Combined Arms Army in there to make it look like some kind of saturation of the bridgehead. The Russian troops have a serious problem with technological resources, as well as with human resources, which can only be solved by mobilization, and there is no mobilization yet. Will they be able to keep plugging the holes with just people? No, it doesn't work that way. During World War II, the Red Army threw people by the thousands just into the meat grinder and took Nazi positions. But that mass of people had adequate support in terms of equipment. The Soviet Union had Lend-Lease from partners, the military-industrial complex worked non-stop, all enterprises produced products in huge quantities. And this mass of people pressed the enemy positions with the support of rocket and barrel artillery, tanks and other equipment. In general there was fire and mechanized support of the army. Just a mass of people does not solve anything, and this is what we are now seeing in the combat zone. Because since the second half of 2022 the Russian army has lost its defensive functions with the corresponding conclusions.